and welcome back to Let's Play Shin Megami Tensei Digital Devil Saga 2. Last time, we died! Everybody! And now we're in the sun, trying for one last time to thwart the apocalypse. I have taken the liberty of getting my party set up for the coming dungeon off-screen, and have liquidated all our plants. Here is just my skill sets. As you can see, I've got Cielo set up on his Earth skills, since that's the best damage he has. Got a buff and debuff in there. Item find, as always, and my diorama for healing. The most notable thing there is Neural Shock. We will be coming across quite a few ailment-weak enemies in the coming areas, and Neural Shock does pretty good damage and is effective against a lot of them. There is one thing that nullifies Nerve, but I'm not terribly worried about that, and if it does become a problem, I can set up, Pulimpa and a debuff. It actually should pair with Enervate, and I can have a Tantara Fu combo. Gale is running mostly the same, as you can see, item find, his physical skills. I have also set Piri Phlegethon with Fire Boost. There is only one thing that drains fire and one thing that resists fire in the coming layer, and I'm not too concerned about that. This is basically just for cleanup if after Cielo Neural shocks the enemy. Seraph is running in the back for probably the first time in this game first time in a while, really. I've got Fizz Resist on there so that if we get ambushed or first struck by anything that launches multi-targeting physical attacks, I have some measure of a way to recover from that. I got Zeodyne, Jupiter's Fury, Brufudyne, Lekam to buff up the Jupiter's Fury, and of course Item Find and Diorama. Reincarnate there is on a last resort as a last resort panic button. If Cielo and Gale are not able to put the things on Death's Door, Reincarnate will win every fight guaranteed. Before we head further, let's just use up our noises here. Want to get Seraph a little powered up, and we can use our magic datas on Heat for when he comes in. Like I said, I'm not going to be fielding Argilla and Heat right now, because they're just way behind on skills, and it's not worth it to get them up and running right now. As soon as we get into the third layer, then I will actually take them out and train them up. But the sun, it is divided into several layers, and it is pretty comparable to the Labyrinth of Amala from Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne in both terms of design and just generally what it throws at you with the enemies. And here we've got a somewhat unique cutscene. I think this is the first time in a while we've had something that's just rendered with the in-game graphics. You know, this looks like a special boss-type enemy, but no, this is just a regular guy. This is Kingu. And we get a nice demonstration of Seraph's transformation. Arda. Pretty cool-looking demon, you must say. Definitely looks like something we would have for the Final Dungeon. Kind of has the coloration of Ultraman, really, now that I think about it. But yeah, Kingu, let's see, where do I got this guy's stuff down? I know yes. He nullifies Earth and ailments and repels death, but otherwise that's all there is to say about him. He's not a terribly threatening boss, so what we're going to do here is we're just going to have Gale Skull Cleave him. Oh, wow. Never mind. I was going to use Reincarnate just to show it off, but we can just kill him with the Zeodyne. Criticals at this point can deal some insane damage. As you can see, I've got my mantras set up. I'm not going to be too focused on actually maxing those out, and I just realized Argilla and Heat do not have a Mutual Karma set. Let's get that set real quick. It should just be at the bottom, I think. Close to the bottom. Alright, we'll set that. Argilla. There we go. And we've got some more datas to talk to here. Huh. I wonder if we could get what kind of ring he was working on. That guy is part of a side quest. He is the payoff if you collect all of the karma rings in the game. He has a special one to give you after that. And hey, it's the data of Pyrojack. And we know who he is. We know what he's selling. Yeah. But yes, you still have access to Impel Stones if you did not buy one before you died. Alright, so heading into here, this route actually leads to a dead end, but there's a couple treasures for us to grab along the way. You may have noticed the red floor there, so a couple quick datas. I'm just going to use those on Seraph real quick. You may have noticed the red floor back there. That is the second instance where we need to use a core shield to avoid taking damage. And this layer is the last time we need to utilize core shields. Alright, our first new enemy here, Scotty, weak to Elec, nullifies Expel, Mute, Panic, and drains Earth. So that just means Cielo's gonna Neural Shock and call it a day. And Skull Cleave should take it out. No sense in using 70 MP on one enemy. Now, Scotties are notable for dropping Jasmines. A lot of the enemies in the sun have a chance to drop valuable plant items. Scotty is one of the less important ones for that, because Jasmines aren't as valuable as other plants can get, but hey, if we get it, it's nice. The other enemy that we can run into that drops a plant here, well, I'll name it when we actually run into it, or point out when we actually run into it. Hey, Horus! There is no room where you can run into this guy guaranteed, like the first game. Let's see, he also nullifies Earth, so once again, Cielo is just gonna dump out Neural Shock. We will Skull Cleave him, and where does that leave him? Zeodyne should finish him off. But, much like the previous game, this guy has a chance of dropping magic datas, and hey! Very nice. If I can get a ton of those, that would be much appreciated. He needs all the help he can get. His magic isn't quite as bad as it was in the first game, but it's still pretty low. And here's just one of the gimmicks for this layer. We have one-way doors. Go through that door, we can't come back through it. We want to go up this elevator because there's a treasure awaiting us at the top. Alright, next set of enemies here. This is Kukulin. He is a physically oriented enemy. He resists most magic. Let's see, Fire, Ice, Elec. He also resists physical skills. He repels Force and Expel, but he's weak to nerve damage, so that's why I have Neural Shock. This guy can be very dangerous if you don't have some kind of counter for him. And let's see, I'll just pass around, do another Neural Shock, and see where that leaves him in terms of health. He's not resistant to Earth. Okay, yeah. He's not resistant to Earth, so I could also just dump a Pterodyne on him. As you see there, Heat is working on Ice Demon. I'm going to have him pursuing the Ice skill tree so that he can get Ice Resist. Starting with the next layer, I'm going to actually... let me just check my item list here. Yeah, we want to take this door. I'm going to work towards getting the elemental mantras completely mastered for all my characters, so that they have, or well, at least for Heat, Gale, and Argilla, I want them to master their opposite elemental mantras so that they get the resist skills. We definitely want that by the 5th layer for reasons, but in general it's a good idea to have. Hey, Yasoma. Additionally, I've got Cielo working on the final available ailment mantra, Mukti. Once he has that mastered, something else will happen. Oh, also, while I'm thinking of it, off-screen, when I was revising my mantras, I unlocked another special mantra. It was the one underneath, was it Godly Beast and Overlord, I think? It was the one towards the top, but that boosted my entire party's strength by 3. You may notice that the Recover button was doing some pretty lousy healing there. When you use Recover, it utilizes the magic from your characters in reserve, and it just uses the strongest thing they have. Unfortunately, neither Argilla nor Heat have access to Medea Rama or anything better than Medea, really. So their healing is pretty cruddy, and I have to mash the buttons a couple times to actually get fully healed. Kind of annoying, but whatever. I guess it keeps my point characters in tip-top condition. And we actually want to go this way. I suppose I should note now, for when it happens, when Seraph levels up, we go back to being able to distribute their stat points like we were able to for Surf. So that's pretty nice. We can choose what to focus on. Once Strength is capped, which that'll just be in 1 more point, I'm going to focus on increasing Vitality, Luck, and Agility equally. But after a point, I will probably just start doubling down on Vitality for the extra HP, since that's the most useful. Alright, these guys are not terribly threatening, and this one is feared, so may as well eat him right up. And Zeodyne will take this one out. Yeah, so the enemies on the first layer, not terribly threatening, not anything you really have to worry about. You also notice that we're getting quite a bit of money from them, even without the Rich Ring equipped. Right now I've got the Divine Ring on Seraph, the Skull Ring on Cielo, and the Amala Ring on Gale, just to make him a little bit stronger. I don't really think the Rich Ring is worth it at this point, especially because if we're lucky, we're going to be getting plenty of plants. I haven't been too lucky on that front, though. But hey, that's what happens sometimes. Let's see. So, at the end of this hallway, get a purple crystal. Also, if it happens, when we get into Berserk mode, and hey! Called it. Let's just see. Arta has got those 2 arms, and we haven't seen Heats yet, but I'm sure we'll get a chance to. The last new enemy for this area, I believe. Oh no, there's one more. But this is another one we haven't seen. Pallas Athena. She's pretty annoying. She's only weak to death. She's strong against Elect, and she repels Ice, Nulls, Expel, and Charm. But otherwise not terribly threatening. The most notable thing about her is that she can drop Manjusakas, which is very nice. Not worth it, not worth it. Those Kukulans could absolutely destroy us with physical attacks, so if I miss, better just run. If there was only one of them left, it might have been worth going for, but not if there's 2 of them. And yeah, we're probably going to be going through a few core shields through this layer, just because they don't last terribly long. Okay. Now, we just want to turn south really quickly here, and grab this treasure here. And we get a couple ice walls. Actually, there may be a fight coming up where that could come in handy, although most likely not. Alright, I gotta remember which elevator actually takes us forward, because I did not actually mark that down on my item notes, as usual. But it's okay. This is actually a relatively short layer, so if I get through it, if I make the right choices the first time every time, we'd be through it pretty quickly. Hey, here's the last new enemy for this layer, Gremikala. Like always, he repels physical attacks, he can drain fire, he nullifies poison, he also repels death, and he's weak to Expel and Charm. We will actually be seeing this guy a lot in the following layer, and that's when Argilla's Seraph lore really starts to come in handy. Of course, the fact that most everything in the 3rd layer is vulnerable to Seraph lore to begin with, like, just affected by it, that also helps. Yeah, alright. Gale looking pretty impressive with that Amala ring, I must say. Alright, let's quit messing around and go through this door and see where it takes us. Alright, looks like I chose poorly, so we get a pit. But yeah, if you hit a dead end, most of the time it's just going to be a pit trap, sends you back down to the previous floor. We gotta find the correct elevator that actually lets us progress in the dungeon. To that end, let's try using a core shield. Yeah. Like I said, not too worried about taking wrong turns here, because if you pick the first, or the correct path the first time, this is a very short layer. And here's where Fizz Resist comes in handy. That Demon Rage could be pretty nasty if it critted on everyone. Although Cielo dodging helped quite a bit. Also, there's a good chance to show off how Stun lowers the enemy's defense by a ton. Pretty much the same as Fear when using a Hunt skill. There we go. Now that Gale has 6 realms mastered, he has access to Dragon Slayer, and I can more or less have him branch out into different things right now. I'm not going to have him work on Dragon Slayer immediately, just because it's ridiculously expensive and it takes forever to master. Alright, let me see here. I think I want to take... no, yeah, this is the right door. Again, I'm getting mixed up from my perspective and what the actual, like, map direction is. Okay, I'll Neural Shock them, and these guys aren't resistant to fire, are they? I was checking this earlier. Yeah, they aren't. So, let's actually show this off, since we haven't had a chance to. As you can see, summons up a Vision of Cerberus and does some pretty good damage. With Fire Boost and Fire Amp, that is actually the strongest fire skill in the game, and if you pump up Gale's magic, it can do some pretty impressive damage, all things considered. Alright, we want to go this way, hang a turn here, and we'll wrap around to that recovery terminal just to get ourselves topped off on MP. Neural Shock takes quite a bit of MP to use, also a Chakra Pot there. Actually, you know what? Keep this encounter in, because we can show off Seraph's human form. I guess Seraph still qualifies as human. So, Seraph, how does they attack? With the Prana Beam. So yeah, the bullets don't exactly... she doesn't actually use bullets, so to speak. I guess just holding on to them makes her feel that much stronger. I tend to gravitate towards calling Seraph she just because the consciousness is still largely Sarah's, so that's what I think of. Also, you know, voiced by Wendy Lee. Alright, let's recover ourselves here. Luckily, this thing lets us know that we are going the correct way. And actually, I think we just got the last treasure for this floor. I'm pretty sure I fully explored the map when I previously played this area, so anywhere else we could go is just a dead end. And of course, we've got more Horuses harassing us along the way. But I do not resent the opportunities to fight these guys, because hey, always a chance to get access to more magic datas. No such luck there. But yeah, this is the point in the game where if you haven't gotten item find onto everyone, you want to have it on them now. So good to have here. Alright. We'll detour at that small terminal there to save up and swap in some new mantras. So, I gotta think about what I want to have Gale work on. Actually, I'll probably just have him take, what was it? I always forget the individual names of each tiers of magic. Heat, pretty simple. We're just going to have him keep working on ice skills while he's in reserve. I'm taking Gale down the elect magic path, Bolt Master. There we go. We want him to get elect resist as soon as possible. It is in the same boat as Heat and Urgilla, really. Alright, and like always, we want to make a safety save. Yeah, the enemies in the sun, they do not mess around. They can utterly destroy you with very little effort if they get to go first, especially once we hit the third layer and we can run some nasty encounters like Samael or, well, Samael's the only one that's really nasty in the third layer. Barong's one that's really nasty in the fourth layer. Alright, let's get back to work. Again, that terminal right there lets us know we're getting close to the end. Okay, let's try our luck again at a Berserk mode battle. Alright, good start there, and perfect. Get a whole bunch of experience from that. Definitely we could use a lot of experience at this point. The more strength we have going forward, the better. Especially once Seraph has capped out their magic. We want the Core Shield. And continue on our way, and that will probably be the last Core Shield I have to use in the game. Yeah, not exactly a fully realized concept. Just a thing to note about Garimekalas, they are the enemies, like the previous game, that drop HP datas if you're lucky, but the drop rate is wicked low on them, so don't bank on it too much. The more notable thing that they can drop is that they can actually drop, well, for right now, they can drop Wild Bombs, which is a item that you use it and it casts Megidola. Now, that's not too important right now, but there is a specific area in this dungeon where that can come very in handy. And like I said, this is a short layer, so we are already at the boss. Let me get prepared for this guy. Alright, I didn't do any fancy preparations there. I just retooled Seraph's skill, gave her the dual ring, and put her in the center row. Or the center position in battle. Because, for our first boss of the sun, hey, it's Harley! Man, we haven't seen this guy in over 20 parts. Or, I'm sorry, over 40 parts, actually. He's the first boss from Digital Devil Saga, and he's back for another go-around. Unfortunately for him, he's not much better than he was in that game. We'll get into that. First order of business, like all boss fights, we want to start by throwing up a charge. I have brought in Bufudyne with Ice Amp, but I've also brought in Zeodyne with Elect Amp and Elect Boost, for reasons that'll become apparent probably as soon as this turn is over. Actually, he didn't do... well, he has access to Ice Charge, or rather Void Ice or Drain Ice. Basically, he just has an Ice Nullifying Shield that he can throw up, so I don't want him to do that. So I'm gonna focus on just having... or rather, I'm gonna have alternate non-Ice magic available for use when he actually throws that out. Now, if you want this fight to be really easy, you could just pack Void, or rather Drain Fire, and throw that up every turn, and he would not have much to do against that. There he goes, Ice Drain. Now at this point, this is where the fight gets a little interesting. He starts using Firestorm, hits everybody with fire damage, and it never misses. So your best bet against it is either something like Spell Gloom to lower his magic damage, or of course the charges that I threw up. And he really can't keep up with our high defenses off of that. Now, let's see here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna throw up a Mediarama, get a Mind Charge going. Probably not gonna be able to pass around to Seraph's turn. And let's just have Gale, you can throw out a Skull Cleave. Yeah, no crit there, but that's okay. And yeah, so the fight basically progresses like this. He Psycho Rages, Ice Drains, then throws out a couple Firestorms. I'm not too worried about it. Yeah, so this turn, I'll probably have Cielo throw out a Mediarama, see where that leaves us. Probably won't need to have Seraph throw out another one. Especially when he misses like that. Alright, Cielo, just get us up and running here. Yeah, not too bad. Throw out a Mind Charge Zeodyne here, and yeah, he's toast. Honestly, I probably could have just did that the previous turn and won it right away, but I wasn't sure how much HP he had left. Very easy fight, barely any more of a challenge than he was in the previous game. And hey, he actually gave out some pretty good AP there. Now Seraph has access to Pterodyne, so I'm going to have them start working on Fire Magic. Want to get all of the Tier 3 spells onto them. Oh hey, Strength is already mastered. Well, at this point, we're just going to start pumping these up. And Heat over there, trying to look better than he actually is. Well, I think I got a magic data off of a Horus, so let's just throw that on him real quick. Yes, there it is. I was going to use that while I was setting up. Let me see, want to make some quick revisions to my party here. Of course, make sure we have the Divine Ring back. We will reorganize our party like it was before. I didn't make any changes to anybody but Seraph's skill list, so let's see. Just want to get Item Find back on there for right now, because I'm going to be setting up for grinding in a little bit anyway. Where is it? Well, there it is. And honestly, yeah, that's fine. I didn't end up using Jupiter's Fury anyway. Just one more thing waiting for us in Harley's room towards the back. We can get a Manjusaka. We're gonna need plenty of those, so I appreciate every single one that we get. Now, let's head on up to the third layer. Right here, going back this way, there is nothing. There's just one way to go on this layer. Who's this? This is the nurse that served as the basis for Argilla. Though the game never confirms if her name actually was Argilla or not. And despite her posturing, she is genuinely regretful of what she ended up doing. Now, let's see, we got a little bit to go before we get to the large terminal, but it should be in that next room there. And there's no treasure here, but this is just demoing the gimmick for this one. We've got these lighted paths out in open space that only light up as you go along them. And we got our next new enemy here, Lilith. As you can see, she is an elect-focused enemy, which is rather scary for Gale, but I'm not too worried. She's weak to Expel and strong pretty much all types of magic, so we're gonna have to be careful about that. Yep, there goes Gale. Alright, well, here's what I was talking... Oh, I forgot to set it. Wealth. Actually, let me pass. What do I got here? Let's see. Got a whole bunch of stuff that it resists, so instead what we're going to do is we're going to toss out Wild Bombs. I'd kind of like to save these for later, but I let myself get caught in a bad situation. Another Wild Bomb should finish them off. Here we go. I forgot to set Reincarnate, my bad. There we go. Little scary, but nothing we couldn't handle. And hey, Cielo got a level up, at the expense of Gale falling behind a little bit. But yeah, that is a good example of why you kind of want your elemental resist skills at this point. Unlike Digital Devil Saga, where you could pretty easily get by without them, in this game it's pretty important that you grind for them at some point. Where is Reincarnation? Gotta scroll through a pretty extensive skill list at this point. Kind of wish you would be able to like sort of set predefined skill lists that you could just call up instantly. It would make this game much less of a hassle to play, but alas. And our next new enemy here is Mata. He drains physical attacks, so be very careful about that. Otherwise, he just nulls Death and Panic and is weak to Ice, and he does not resist Expel in any capacity, so Sereth Lore should work out on him. Let's see. Actually, Avalanche should be the ideal thing to use here. As you can see, not terrible damage. We will Skull Cleave that Lilith, and then Bufudine this Mata, and that will take care of it. Matas can drop MP datas, Liliths can drop luck datas. Neither of them did so there, but that's something to watch out for. And yeah, lots of enemies in the Sun are capable of dropping data items, so this is the point in the game where we can get those together and become really powerful if we're lucky. But here is the next large data node. Each layer after the second has a large data node at the start, so allows us to quickly backtrack to the first layer in order to regroup with Johnny if we need to. Now, I'm actually going to do quite a bit of mantra grinding off-screen before the next video. In particular, I'm going to be geared towards getting Heat and Argilla ready for battle, and I'll be swapping them in. Primary things I want to do with Argilla is I want her to master Wind God so that she has access to Force Resist, plus Xandine, and I'll probably just have her go around picking up as many elemental mantras as she can. The real person I'm going to be working on is Heat, who I'm going to have him pick up Holy Beast for better hunting, going to have him work on a whole bunch of physical mantras, and I'm actually going to work him towards Dragon Slayer so he can learn that. And that should put him in pretty good standing for helping out. After all that is learned, and if I can, I'll try and learn Overlord and Godly Beast, but money's going to be a little tight at this point. The path we want him to take is Cruel Leader, because after we complete the Amatsukami mantra, a very good mantra is unlocked afterwards. But that'll be what I'm working on in the next video. I will save the game here, and when we come back, we will delve further into the Sun, and hey, maybe run into an old friend. We'll see. We'll see. Alright, as always, I hope you enjoyed watching. Hope to see you next time. Until then, goodbye.